Guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Space Monkey Mafia here, and today we're going to ask Reddit because I found a funny little thread. What was the worst meltdown you ever saw at a wedding? And I wanted to do something kind of funny for Tuesday, since Tuesdays are objectively worse than Mondays because you start out Monday without any sleep whatsoever pretty much, and then you gotta go through and get very little sleep again and wake up Tuesday and you're just tired and it's just rough. So let's get into some funnies. I went to a cousin's wedding when I was really little. She had spent a fortune on decorations and dresses and had this extravagant wedding dress tailored for her, and we all arrived and waited for the wedding to start. An hour passed, then another, and all the adults started grumbling. Finally, a group of guys drove over to find out what was keeping up the groom. This was before mobile phones were ubiquitous, and it turned out that the bride hadn't informed him of their wedding, or their engagement, or that they were dating. So, we all went to a very awkward wedding reception. I was just happy to be able to take off that stupid gaudy dress that was forced on me. So as a young child, I may have attended a failed shotgun wedding. That guy should have called the cops on my cousin. Like, how does that even happen? How do you go through your head just thinking, I'm going to spend all this money, I'm going to get all my relatives to show up, I'm just not going to tell the guy to show up. I'm just not going to tell him. Like, you could probably find someone. If you're really desperate, just find someone on Craigslist and, fake marry them. Like, what was the point? There's no way he was going to say yes. If she didn't have the guts to spring an engagement on him, why did she think that a wedding would work? Oh my gosh. Oof, my old boss's daughter had an imaginary fiance. I mean, I don't think he was ever real. He had a rare form of cancer, so his immune system was too weak to see visitors other than the daughter. Even her son couldn't go and see him. But he was wealthy and owned a huge farm and bought her a brand new Ford Explorer, talk about aiming low on your fantasy, but wanted to see her drive it, so he didn't let her take it off the farm. It goes on like this. Anyway, boss and her boyfriend and some extended family all bought plane tickets to Hawaii, where the wedding was going to be, but the wealthy man's cancer was acting up, so he couldn't go and they had to cancel. Boss was telling us all of this, angry about the plane ticket she'd pay for it, but barely hiding her excitement at the inheritance her daughter would get when the guy finally died. She still thought the guy existed. After she left, we all looked at each other and were like, so should we tell her that this guy isn't real? We decided to let her sort it out on her own. She was the type that would have punished us out of embarrassment. My ex invited me to his mother's second wedding in Idaho. I had never met any of his family and was very out of place amongst all of the conservative religious people in that small town. We arrived just hours before the wedding and I met the most insane woman ever, his aunt. Her toddler, she was in her late 50s, had fallen asleep before the ceremony started. The family encouraged me to take his seat so I could sit next to my boyfriend. She literally complained loudly until the bride started walking down the aisle. I discovered that I was allergic to sagebrush and was having the first and only allergic reaction of my life, therefore tearing up and sniffling quite a bit. As we went to file out, she walked behind me and loudly commented about how I was faking being emotional because I didn't even belong there. At the reception she showed up late to, she went from table to table complaining about the bride's choices of decor, the married couple's relationship, etc. She also complained about the quality of free champagne that was being served non-stop. She proceeded to get really drunk and started dancing inappropriately during the first song while the bride and groom tried to have their first dance. People started trying to get her to leave. She was becoming more and more angry. Her toddler was begging for her food and getting sleepy. She ignored everything. She ended up hitting on the groom. He called her out. In a last-ditch effort, she lunged at him, clamped her hand on his groin, and tried to kiss him, leading with her tongue. The bride had finally had enough, stopped the band, and politely and loudly told her to leave now. She lurked outside for over 2 hours, crying, yelling, ignoring her son, and shoving away people that were trying to get her to just leave. My boyfriend and I were supposed to stay on an air mattress in his mother's living room that night. When we got back from the reception, the awful aunt had driven herself and her son back to the house. She was supposed to stay in a hotel and crashed on our spot. We ended up having to sleep in the yard in a tent. The next day, boyfriend and I tried to take a nap on the air mattress, and his aunt ripped off the blanket, screaming that she knew we were being intimate and that we were disgusting. We were both fully clothed and fully asleep. It was 2 p.m. and many people were in and out of the room. Eventually, my boyfriend's mom kicked her out of the house and ended her relationship with her then and there. As far as I know, they still have not spoken. Okay, so I get how people say, family is family. Get rid of this person. Get them out of their life. She does not deserve to be in anyone's life. Take the child. This is bad. This is a bad situation for any child to be in. My goodness, what kind of things do you have to go through in life to be this kind of person? She's just complaining about everything, but then she's just going and making everything so much worse. Just objectively so much worse. Ruining everything. Almost killing her child by driving extremely drunk. Drunk driving, that's not a joke. That kills so many people. I cannot believe this. She's gonna end up killing the child. Someone save the child. Oh. We went to a family friend's wedding. Her mother didn't like the groom, not one bit, and everyone knew that. So she told her mother that they broke up so she wouldn't go to the wedding. Somehow, the mother found out and she broke into the wedding reception and shot the groom in the leg at the altar. You know those little, wedding fail compilation videos? I want to see this one. There's follow-up questions to this one, because of course there's follow-up questions, my goodness. What happened afterwards with the groom and the mother? The mother died a few years later. The groom kind of just disappeared from our lives. We don't know what happened to him. So, she succeeded? My cousin's sister-in-law, groom's older sister, sobbed through a 10-minute speech that was just inappropriate rambling about how much money and time the family had put into the groom's future, and now he was getting married and her children would have to knock before going into his bedroom. She also did not mention the bride. No one clapped. The videographer shook his head, and the groom left the head table to console her because my cousin married a weirdo. And more comments on this one because... What? Okay, you made me log in. Now, the crying woman's children would have to knock before entering his bedroom? Why would they have to knock now? Why didn't they have to knock before? I gotta tell you, if your comment was the first few sentences of a novel, I would be so in already. I don't know, I was just fascinated by her hysterical sobbing. I mean, you would think her brother was dying. Another gem was something along the lines of her children not bouncing around his lap because he may have his own. Her youngest was 5, oldest 10. At my aunt's wedding, this woman had too much to drink. She was there with a man, I don't know if he was her husband, and he had to carry her out of the reception kicking and screaming. She embarrassed her date to the point where he dragged her out. Her dancing was terrible and she kept yelling and arguing with him. This one didn't have a lot of comments or anything, but I want to know exactly what was going on. I'm sure we've all, I don't know if we all have, but I've been there where a relative has a really crazy girlfriend or boyfriend and they're just, that's probably what was going on, but this time it was the date that wasn't nuts. That's not normally how it goes. Normally it's the relative that's sane and then they just bring some crazy person. Not that the date is sane and your relative's a crazy person, because at that point you just shouldn't invite them. My best friend's sister got married and had a photo booth for the guests to take pictures. It took a set of 4 pictures and they were for their photo album of the wedding. Guests kept thinking the photos would be given to them after, which they weren't. They were digitally saved and not even printed until after the wedding, and kind of doing some off-the-wall stuff. The groom's mom got very drunk and started arguments with her ex-husband and wife, and even grabbed my best friend's mom in the photo booth and attempted to make out with her. She was just acting drunk. The best part is when we looked through the photo strips after her sister developed them, there were multiple sets of photos of the groom's mom flashing the camera. Oh my gosh, just imagine if the groom had to go through the pictures for his photo album. Oh my gosh, could you... Oh, dude, that would be awful. A friend's cousin got married a few years ago. The bride's brother was a nutcase and got himself banned from the wedding by causing all sorts of drama at the engagement party. Wedding day rolls around, and the brother shows up at the reception in a white suit, happy and dancing. Everyone thought he was trying to make amends until the speeches happened, and he grabbed the mic to rant about how terrible his sister was and how much he hates the groom and his family. He was promptly kicked out. No more than 5 minutes later, a bomb threat is called in at the reception venue. Police have to lock down the venue and search 500 guests and all of their personal belongings. Put a total dampener on the things. I really hope he got arrested and got some legal action taken against him, because it's illegal to call in a bomb threat. Think of how many man hours were wasted for that. To search 500 people and all their belongings, that's got to take dozens of people over an hour, well over an hour probably. Oh my gosh, that's just terrible. He needs to pay for all those man hours. He needs to pay for using emergency services wrong. Why would you do this? What are these people? It's like an alternate dimension we've mentioned. We've gone to a different dimension. All right, that's what's going on. Not a meltdown per se, but recently went to a wedding where the reception was on the 2nd floor of the building, with a cool wraparound balcony so you could step out and get away from the crowd. Several of my friends and I are standing there when we see the groom's brother on top of a truck, like a shipping truck, next to the balcony. He army crawls across the top, slides down the front, and walks away. Apparently, he somehow fell over the railing, slid down the very short roof, and landed on top of the truck. He is not a small man, and he is at least 45. He was, however, completely drunk. We know he fell over the railing and slid down the roof because one of the other friends, who had just stepped back outside after getting a drink, saw it happen. This is what I'm talking about with the alternate dimension stuff. This stuff doesn't happen in our dimension, alright? This is just other stuff. I can't believe this is hilarious. Why? Oh my gosh, how do you just... you know that video? What's the video? It was a meme video for a while. It's jumping off the roof, and the dude just like got drunk and like jumped off the roof. I don't know if you guys have seen the full video, but he goes off that roof. I think he ended up being fine, but he goes off the roof and no one's able to stop him. I think it was like Chris jumping off the roof or something, if you guys want to look it up. If I find it, I'll link it, but I probably will. I'll probably find it. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a good Tuesday. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that good little YouTube stuff. The background's supposed to be my quarantine 1 tank today, but that's still empty because I can't find any female embellis, even though I've got like 20 of them. I don't know what's up. It's statistically impossible. But anyway, that's not important. I've got my little pleco tub in the background. I have my adult female albino bristlenose pleco and then an adult longfin male common colored bristlenose pleco. I really like the way the common longfins look better than the albino longfins. I love the way the little tubby little female looks. She's kind of chubby, but that's good. I love all my little fishies. You know, besides all that being said, I really hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, I'll catch you back here tomorrow. Bye.